gold, silver and gold we have lost. Then don't go back to Bayelsa.
Hello everyone, good day according to your time. Welcome back to Learning is the Key. Hope you guys are doing well. Please, if you are seeing my channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and kindly leave your comment. God bless you. Those of you that have subscribed and my whole returnees, I love you. Please kindly follow my page and also like here. So guys, Nigeria has gone to that extent. Nigeria is in trouble. Okay, Nigeria has gone to that extent where after the flood, after the heavy rain that burst everywhere, here is what this white man have to say, what they have to do. And many Nigerians are really in hunger as I'm talking to you. So if a Nigeria can go to other countries to donate new brown cars to them, why can't a Nigeria take care of its own personal citizen? Why can't a Nigeria? You know, one thing I hate about some Nigerians is that they are so stupid. When you show them left, they will be looking at the other side. When you show them right, they will be looking at the other side. They never understand the simple thing in life that you need to understand as a person. That Nigeria is a sick country. When you understand that, then you will not start thinking differently. So take a look and see what the white man have to say. And my question is this: how long will Nigeria keep on depending on Europeans? How long will Nigeria keep on taking laws upon law just to do their own selfish reason? And do you think this is really going to go down well with Nigerians when the time comes? I bet you no. How long will Nigeria keep on punishing their own citizens? Take a look and count your teeth with your tongue.
But if you step a meter away from here, you will see that the entire land, communities, and all are led by classified traditional rulers. Your Excellency, your visit today, your visit.
There are a couple of images that will stick in my mind for a while. As we were traveling around several of the affected communities with the governor of Bayelsa yesterday, it is staggering to see the extent of the flooding. So several weeks after the climax of it, to see this much water still, to see houses surrounded by water, to see people sleeping in boats or on higher ground was a bit of a surprise. It was a bit of a surprise coming into the capital city first thing in the morning to see that it has been hit. I think that's unusual. That's not been the case in other states. So that's my first impression. I've got images in my head from yesterday of really severe devastation. And after having visited Anambra and Adamawa and now Bayelsa, I am convinced this is a national crisis and there needs to be a national crisis response. Now, a second thing is, of course, we're a bit too late with the ambulance and with the immediate relief. You need the ambulance when the accident happens, not several weeks after. Where I'm going with this is that the priority now is to get people to recover. We're beginning the early recovery phase. I think people want to go back as soon as they can to whatever is left of their homes, and we need to support them with that and support them with livelihoods, regaining not just assets like houses, but also income and their livelihoods. That for me is the second main priority. And then after the first one of immediate relief. And then a third issue is, traveling along the river and seeing how far the water has gone up the embankments. It's very clear there need to be mitigation and adaptation measures into the future. So the governor spoke, like other governors I've spoken to, about the need to construct dams to manage water flows in such situations, to strengthen the bank encampments so that water doesn't that directly hit affected people. So I think that's the third thing that needs to be done out of all.
Anywhere else?
No, I think I must say both in Adamawa and here, I think these two states are comparable in terms of the extent. In both these states, I was reminded of the images we saw of Pakistan a few months ago. Just really vast areas flooded. That is really incredible. And I think in Bayelsa, I've mentioned already what makes Bayelsa stand out is, number one, your capital city was hit. And what makes it stand out is that weeks into it, people are still sleeping in boats, etc., are still internally displaced, whereas in Adamawa and Anambra, I heard people starting to talk about going back, and some have gone back. So I think we are in still very much in the height of the crisis here, with a few weeks to go before serious early recovery work can start. Now, I've also said to my colleagues, we should somewhat avoid comparing states, because what matters is the perspective of people. There are thousands of people affected. I saw it yesterday. And on the one hand, it's remarkable how resilient they seem to be. I didn't feel any aggression or bitterness, which they have every right to be, but really a spirit of, we want to get through this and we want to rebuild our lives. But so through the perspective of thousands of affected people, whether they are in Bayelsa, whether they are in Anambra, Adamawa, or any of the other 34 states hit, we must all collectively prioritize the needs of affected people. And the governor told me that 90% of Bayelsa state is affected. Of course, I've not seen all of that, but that's a crisis, and a crisis of national proportion that needs to be addressed. So, of course, we have to work with, as United Nations, with concerned governments, including Nigeria, and both at federal as well as state level, like Bayelsa, to look at lowering the impact of climate change. Our Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, all the time speaks about we are late in trying to achieve the 1.5 goal, and if we don't meet it, we will see more of these crises. So, and that is, of course, about behavior, and a lot of that is about behavior. Those who emit the most, and they are not in Nigeria or in Africa for that matter, they're in the global West and in some other countries like the BRICS countries as they are known: Russia, China, India, Brazil, South Africa. The middle income countries that are big emitters. So a priority has to be to get the countries and the people who emit the most to reduce significantly the damage they are doing to the environment. In other countries like Nigeria, I've already touched on it, I think we need to look at adaptation and mitigation measures, strengthening encampments, finding ways of people having renewable energy, because I think a part of the problem, I saw that in Anambra, is erosion. And when there's floods like this, that gets even worse. And erosion is partly caused by people looking for firewood to be able to cook. So I think sustainable energy is also a key part here in Nigeria, and that needs to be is a federal priority. Implementation of the National Energy Transition Plan needs to be seriously accelerated. There's two things to say for that. Our colleagues from the World Health Organization, I saw them in all 3 states I visited on the ground. In fact, here also we'll have another chat with them. And they have been working closely with commissioners of health, with the Minister of Health at federal level to ensure that we don't see major outbreaks of crises through waterborne diseases like cholera, for instance. So there is technical advice and I believe material support coming from the World Health Organization. UNICEF, our colleagues from UNICEF are also involved because, of course, children are often disproportionately affected, and so they are working with their partners on the ground to ensure that children get protected. And some of that is, I think, simple stuff like trying to avoid children swimming. You know, I have images in my head, not so much yesterday, but in a number of, a place that used to be a football field is now a swimming pool, and kids are swimming there. And we all know, with the sewage that has spilled over, etc. So some of it is really simple health education stuff. Now, speaking of children, one other important issue for me is education. Again, I saw that yesterday. I understand schools were closed for several weeks. And so I hope that our colleagues in UNICEF and others can help to ensure that education can resume as quickly as possible, because we speak about shelter, we speak about food, we speak about health, but we forget that a serious consequence and impact of this is children missing out on education.
Mula to Ibo, you two go down.